each of our managers in our divisions, there are actually daily goals that need to be hit. And so at the end of every single day, we are measuring to a scorecard. Did we get the things done that we were supposed to get done? Accountability will motivate your team members, so require some type of a scorecard, all right, to help you communicate and define the goal on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. And here's a fun one. His third one, build a legacy. Oh, I love this. Build a legacy. This is the bigger picture here. Some smart leaders pass on the legacy of their company to a next generation. They begin to talk about their story. You guys, again, I know we've heard a lot about millennials and that 18 to 26-year-old right there, right now in our society can be a really difficult group to inspire and move forward. This is what so many say. I've never found this. Okay, I have not found this to be true, but one of the things that I consistently do is I let people into my story. Again, when you begin to build a legacy, what you want to do is take what's inside of you and plant those seeds inside of other people. The way that I used to do this and the way that I still do it with my employees now is I talk about the struggles that I've been through. I talk about the path that I've been down. And then I begin to ask questions. Does this sound familiar to you? Does it sound like you're kind of in this same season? Yeah, it does. Well, let me tell you a little bit about how I navigated that. And you begin to build a legacy. You begin to gather people that have all walked down the same path. And you continue to cast the vision of where we are headed, where the company is headed. I know this is where you feel like you are right now. I've been there before. Let me tell you a little bit about this part of my life. Let me tell you about this part of my story. This is how I navigated it. And now I'm here. Would you like to be here? Yes, I would. Okay, well, here's how we need to navigate to help you get there. And you begin to build a culture. You strengthen your culture of growth. You strengthen your culture of legacy. Okay? So again, build a legacy as you move from one generation to the next. When new people come in, they are stepping into a legacy. I love this word here. Next of all, another thing that we can do to encourage good communication is to make sure that we create a mission and vision statement. Create this mission statement. You've heard me talk about this and how important it is. Statement. How important it is to have a mission statement. If you don't have it right now for your company, man, this is something that we need to do immediately. It's to sit down and begin to identify for you personally as a leader of your company, for you as a manager, for you as a person that's leading a team or leading a department, what is your personal vision statement? And when it comes to your company, your department, your team, what is the mission? What are you trying to accomplish as a team? And then what I strongly encourage you to do, as you've heard me say before, is I encourage you to get that up. Write it down, get it up graphically, get it really pretty so it's up on the walls. So again, now you're saying it all the time. And it's written down so people can see it all the time. You're showing pictures of what your vision will look like when you actually meet your goals. So this is a strong piece right here to create your mission statement. A personal mission statement helps ensure that what you're doing is in line with your life goals. Again, if we're not careful as business owners, what we can do is we go, oh, we can try this product. We can start doing this service. We can start reaching out to this group of people because we think it can make money. And maybe it does make money. Maybe it can be a real revenue generator. But if we don't have a mission statement, if we don't have the boundaries of core values and vision and mission, then we can very easily lose our way in the midst of trying to keep our company financially stable. So again, I've done this before with in a few different areas. Remember with our family business, this was what we were going to do. We're going to go this direction. We're going to create a summer camp and retreat center. All right, that's what my mom and dad wanted to start. But then all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, we need more money. So let's start doing a horse program. Oh, let's start doing this over here. Let's start doing different Christmas programs. Let's start opening up our doors to doing X, Y, and Z. And all of a sudden we're trying to do all of these things that we were never designed to do. And it began to erode the culture of the company. And then finally, here on E, what we want to do is address problems. Address problems immediately. We'll talk about this here in just a moment some more. But address problems immediately. Don't let things linger. When things come up, address them immediately. Have people bring problems only to somebody that can actually fix those problems. All right, have you ever done that before where you've got a problem with the company, you've got a problem on the team, you've got a problem with another person, but you don't go talk to them. You go over here and talk to this person over here. They can't really change that person. They don't really have any authority to bring any change, but I'm going to go over here and talk to this person. That leads us into our second thing that we want to be really careful of as an organization, to not allow to seep into our company. Okay? But remember, the greatest problem in communication is simply the illusion that it's going on, that it's happening. So I am a huge fan of, while I'm talking, while I'm communicating with people, to consistently ask questions to gauge understanding. I say things like, does that make sense? Does that fit? Does everybody understand that? Does anybody have any questions? Anybody want to talk about that? Okay, let's stop for a second. Tell me what you have heard me say. How are you guys translating what I'm saying? I encourage you to use those little phrases as you are communicating consistently. To use those phrases to stop, take a moment, and see if people are actually understanding and if people are actually on the same page with you. So, as I was just saying, if we don't address problems immediately, all right, then what we can do is we can easily step into this number 2 enemy of your company culture. And this is gossip. You guys, gossip will break trust really quickly. Gossip doesn't have to be mean-hearted. Sometimes it is, but it doesn't have to be mean-hearted to break trust among your team members. And if you begin to break trust among your team members, then your culture will gradually degrade further and further down until eventually people are just coming to work every day because they're getting a paycheck. And they will gripe every day because they don't think their paycheck is big enough. So you want to be very careful as a leader to make sure that gossip is held to a minimum. All right? And here we go. Gossip is defined as discussing anything negative. Catch this. It's defined as discussing anything negative with anybody that has no power to change the situation. It's just gossip. Again, gossip is defined as anything negative, discussing anything negative with someone who can't help solve the problem. If you have a problem, if you have computer problems and IT is slow to get to the problem and help you change it, it's not going to do you any good to go over to a salesperson and go, oh, can you believe IT, blah, blah, blah. The salesperson can't help you with that. The issue is for you to go to the leader, to go to the manager, to go to the IT and deal with the problem there. You guys, again, I hear a lot of times, well, it's just human nature for people to gossip. Okay, all right, I'll give you that. But just because it may be human nature doesn't mean that you as a leader need to put up with it. I strongly want to encourage you to keep the gossip to a very minimum in your company, or else what will happen is it will begin to break trust. It's impossible to create a unified team. It's impossible to create a strong culture in your company if there's a whole lot of gossip going on. He said and she said and all that kind of fun stuff, all right? It'll break trust. Gossip is unfair because you're talking about a problem most of the time with somebody's doing something you don't like, but the person that you're talking about has no opportunity to speak for themselves, has no opportunity to defend themselves, so you can say anything you want. And it can begin to not only break trust between the person you're talking about, but it can break trust with the person you're talking to. So just want to keep you very aware of, don't let gossip, all right? Don't let gossip build into your company. In my company, I give one warning. And usually, the only warning on this, I only give warnings to people that are new in our company. And a lot of times I'm finding, because I have created a legacy and I've created a team, all right, and we've created unity, what I find is I'm not always the one doing this, but it's my team members that are the ones doing it. I remember when I was a track coach, it was always interesting when the freshmen would come out in those first couple weeks and they'd be griping and complaining and all that kind of stuff. I knew that my juniors and seniors would take care of business. I knew that my juniors and seniors would gather around those young freshmen and help them see the light. You know, we don't gripe and complain. We don't gossip. We do what the coach tells us to do, type of thing, because we had created that in our culture, okay? So only one warning, and after that, you've got to deal with the problem immediately, all right? Strongly want to encourage you that on that with gossip, because if you allow gossip to continue in your organization, it will become an enemy of unity. It will become an enemy of a strong company culture. And remember, that's your role as a leader. Number one, to have a vision. Number two, to build a strong culture. So these are 5 enemies that can come along and actually erode your culture if you're not aware of it. Number 3 is unresolved. Unresolved disagreements. Have you ever had that before? Disagreements. Have you ever had that before where there's 2 people that aren't getting along and they're just not really dealing with it? You know? They're not working through their issues, but they're allowing things to back up. They're allowing emotional things to get in the way. And then all of a sudden they always will bubble over. You felt it in meetings before where there's tension between people. I know you have felt this before because it's obvious. And then all of a sudden it begins to bubble up out of someone's mouth. And what is it? Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So all of a sudden somebody throws a little barb across the table. Just a little thing, you know, what? I was only joking. But everybody in the room knows, no, you weren't joking. That was literally an attempt to break somebody down. You guys, if we allow unresolved disagreements to go on between our team members or between you and team members, it will break trust because it will go from here right into here. This will begin to happen. All right? We'll talk about this next week or in our next session when we are talking about the 9 steps to rebellion. If we don't take care of these unresolved disagreements quickly, then it will immediately move right into gossip. And people will begin to separate and kind of create their own little allegiances and alliances within your team. And now you no longer have a team, but you have a bunch of these little factions that are against one another. You guys, this is a leadership issue for you to step in and take care of that. Most leaders are uncomfortable with confrontation. But you as the leader must confront these small unresolved issues between your people. If you don't, they will build and they will get worse and worse and worse. A lot of times this can be, these issues will come up in your weekly meetings. Again, I have several clients, when I first start working with them, they don't do weekly meetings because they're too busy. Clay, I don't have time for the weekly meeting. I don't have time to do meetings with my employees because I'm just too busy. It's like, okay, well, man, there can be a whole lot going on behind the scenes if you are not meeting with your employees on a consistent basis. So we need to make sure that with some groups, with some levels in your organization, need to have daily meetings. Other levels of your organization need to have weekly meetings, and other levels need to have monthly or quarterly or annual meetings. But this is where the dissatisfaction and disagreements tend to be resolved, is in these times where we come together.